Hey, everybody, Drew Remenda here. You're listening to another podcast from Tealtown, USA.
Oh, what it is, boys and girls, if you didn't know, the schedule came out today. Start making your travel plans, because here we go. Welcome into Tealtown, USA, here for you, your viewing pleasure, if you will. I'm AJ_Strong on the Twitter machine, and with me tonight we have Eric Kerr.
What's happening? You can follow me at PuckGuy14. AJ, we can plan our lives for the next 10 months.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but okay. So. Let's talk about it, shall we? And you're gonna have to keep an eye on the chat because I'm over here busy doing stuff. Well, let's start with October. First time in what feels like quite some time, but maybe not so much. Sharks are gonna be hitting the road early and often in October, although this very much mirrors what the Sharks did last season, 4 home and the rest are away, just like a year ago. So aside from the ridiculous home and home versus Vegas at the beginning, what do you like? What do you not like about October?
With me for October, I mean, 3 and 4 to start off the season. Jeez. And to go bounce back and forth between Vegas and home and then back to Anaheim to start a road trip. But overall, and it shows right here in October, they've clustered the road trips very nicely. And I think for a team that's in the Pacific Division that has a lot of road trips and a lot of miles that they use, I mean, this is huge right here. I mean, to have that 5-game road trip with Buffalo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, and Boston all clustered together, you knock out one portion of the East Coast and you move onward.
All right. Cheryl's saying you could be a little bit louder, evidently. So work on that while he does that. Yeah, that's my only complaint about the opponents here in October is it's okay. At Vegas, then host Vegas, sure. Then they hit a 3-game roadie at Anaheim, then over to Nashville, then up to Chicago. Like, okay, not the best cluster I've ever seen, but we can make it work. Bizarrely, I don't know that I've ever seen this. The Sharks having 2 home and homes in not only in a season, in the same calendar month. At Vegas, hosting Vegas, and then hosting Buffalo at Buffalo. That's just odd. That's so odd to me, but
in a rare one against an East Coast team.
Yes, that's just so bizarre. I can't ever remember seeing that ever. I want to go back and look at the schedules, but anyway, the cluster at the end of October at Buffalo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, and Boston. Hello, NHL schedulers. When did you guys pull your heads out? Because that's a good cluster. And you had something similar last season where it was at the Islanders, at Philly, at the Rangers, at Jersey. Like, they seem to be putting a little more thought behind where the Sharks are playing on these road trips. And bizarrely enough, and again, just fun scheduling quirk note that I've noticed is at the beginning of October this month, they play at Anaheim, at Nashville, at Chicago. At the end of October last season, they played at Nashville, at Carolina, at Anaheim. So a very similar trip, 3-game roadies in October against 2 out of the same 3 opponents. So that was kind of interesting. Nice little scheduling quirk. So go ahead.
I was going to say, and don't forget a special night on October 16th. Patrick Marleau returns to the Shark Tank as a Carolina Hurricane.
That's so funny. Anyway, so at Buffalo, at Montreal. Yeah, nothing's really standing out for me. I'm assuming that there will be the typical giveaways that we do. We got promotions, we get bobbleheads, you get mystery pucks and whatnot. If you remember correctly, opening night last season featured Anaheim Ducks themed mystery pucks with the 2 different duck hunt graphics. I don't know if we'll see something along those lines versus Vegas for opening night this season, but boy, wouldn't that be fun?
Like sharks themed poker chip pucks.
Oh, hey, that would be nice. Perhaps let's just, put it out there now. Perhaps a puck that features the same graphic that's on my T-shirt right now. Just saying. Just saying, my friends. That would be kind of cool. I'd get one of those. So let's move on to November. And November, historically, in comparison to last season, pretty much the same. A lot of home games this season, 4 away. Last season, 5 away. However, last season, they were grouped. You had back-to-backs at Dallas and at St. Louis in the middle, and then you had at Vegas, at Buffalo, at Toronto to end the month of November. However, this year, a little different. What a hell of a homestand to start November. I mean, this puck guy is an opportunity to bank some points.
Big time. Although there are teams that are up and coming, you talk about, the Jets have always been really well. Vancouver, they're starting to get some steam if you hear from around the people. But yeah, Vancouver, Chicago, Minnesota, Nashville taking a hit. Are they going to re-sign? Are they going to sign somebody in free agency? We'll see. Edmonton, I mean, they should be able to bank some points in there big time.
All right, here you go. I knew you were wanting that, but that's a nice stretch. Winnipeg, yeah, they're going to be tough. Vancouver, I still think they're a season or so away. Chicago, nah, not afraid of them whatsoever. Minnesota could be interesting. You never know. Nashville, as you said, took the hit with the loss of PK Subban. We'll see what happens there. And then Edmonton again. Oh, that franchise is in such disarray. I don't care if they have a new coach and a new GM and a new, Zamboni driver. I don't care. And then Detroit and Edmonton again. Again, you're playing Edmonton twice in a week. That's fun. Hello, Drew Remenda. No, but only 4 games away. Now, the best part that we should note about November, there's only one game outside of the Pacific time zone in the entire month, and it's at Arizona, the last game. And we're talking, I mean, if that game took place in October, it would be in the same time zone,
right,
previous to the time change. So,
and the fun thing about this too, you talk about the time zone, they don't leave the state until, well, I take that back. They'll leave the state twice, for Vegas on the 21st, and then for the Desert Dogs on the 30th. I mean, that's crazy.
Which is almost like not leaving the state, if
Exactly.
you think about it. I mean, give me a break. So let's get a little bit further into here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sharks guy 661 and checked LA schedule at the end of the season. They have a full month of not leaving LA and Vegas. They probably have the best schedule, in my opinion, regardless of the teams they play.
And the great thing, I don't know if you've looked it up, but from what is it, from like January 11th through, or January, God, basically like the beginning of January to the beginning of February, like Vegas plays 28 straight days without being at home.
Wow.
It's like when you factor in the bye week, all-star time, all of that, like there's, oh my Lord, T-Mobile,
like the Sharks last year around the All-Star break a little bit.
Yeah, T-Mobile is just dark for an exquisitely awesome amount of time. Man, did they get an apology from the NHL for that? I'm sure it's forthcoming. I'm sure it's forthcoming. So you look at this one, the month of November, obviously you've got the Thanksgiving in there. You got the holiday baked into this part of the schedule. Again, I always look at, well, you know what? Let's just high overview, and then we'll deep dive a little bit of this. So in December, again, I like to compare, one season versus a previous season. When it comes to overall games played, last year you had 8 away. This time around, you only have 5 away in the month of December, and you've got that ridiculous homestand, a 7-game homestand, longest of the season, right there at the end of December. Don't think that the boys aren't going to enjoy that. I mean, you get time with the kids and family as the holidays approach.
Oh, and you're there the entire holiday season. So I
Yeah.
mean, you definitely get some home cooking there. Whether or not that comes back to bite them remains to be seen. Um,
Oh,
and apparently, you're still showing November.
it's all good. It's all good. So I mean, yeah, I'm I'm very very happy with the months of November and December. This is the time to bank points, people. The away games at Carolina. I mean that's not going to be an easy away trip for 4 games in December. At Carolina, we know what they did. At Tampa, hello, they only lose in the playoffs. At Florida, at Nashville. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Wow.
And
Hey,
hope
that's a nice southeast cluster.
yes, exactly. See that they're getting it together. Playing Tampa and Florida back to back. Hello, that makes sense. And then hopefully, with any luck, they finish the year. I don't know what it is over the last few years. They always have to play away from the tank on New Year's Eve. 2 years ago was Dallas, and that was just an absolute cluster F. That was, if you remember, I believe, what was the final score of that at Dallas? It was like six to
6-0.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you remember at Calgary last year was like what, 8-2 or 8-3 or something?
8-5, I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, it was embarrassing. Like when you saw the score 8-5, that made it look closer than it actually was.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, they finish at Detroit. I mean, who doesn't want to spend New Year's Eve in Detroit? But anyway, uh so then the boys will, but well, it doesn't matter. They may be spending New Year's Eve in Pittsburgh because they open January out there. So hey, now that's a nice little 5-game stand. And again, at Detroit, at Pittsburgh, at Columbus, at Washington, at St. Louis. Not the best cluster, but decent nonetheless.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me a little nervous, at least for the TV ratings, is, and I'm a little surprised by this, at Columbus and at Washington, January 4th and 5th. That's NFL wild card weekend. Just saying. Now, I think they'll be fine with the Columbus game on Saturday because typically wild card weekend on Saturday is typically a 1:00 game and a 5:00 game. So they'll be fine there. Sunday, though, it's usually a 10 a.m. game and a 1 p.m. game. So that Washington game, boy, that's going to conflict. It's going to be hard to pull some eyes away from, and could you imagine if the Redskins are playing at the same time?
AJ, just think if it's Redskins and Niners,
Oh,
which is
boy.
kind of a possibility if you think about it.
Yeah, the only way either of those teams are getting in is if they're wild cards.
Exactly.
So to move on through January here, we see that January is very light. Only 4 games at home, 7 away. But you do have the All-Star break in there. And
essentially their bye week.
yeah, I thought that was kind of odd that they kind of crammed the bye week in there. I mean, so I guess a bye week is only 5 days. I thought it was 7, but okay, sure. But hey, if again, it's the whole idea of if you have some sort of break for the kids, if the Sharks will enjoy that time. And then we go into February. I mean, again, it's like we're just kind of high overview on this, and then we'll kind of dive in. Tampa, then out Calgary, at Edmonton. Hello, that makes sense. But then again, you got Calgary twice in less than a week. I like that. I always like it when they sandwich those together. At Winnipeg, at Minnesota. Hello, again, making sense travel-wise. Then, although this one does kind of piss me off. At Winnipeg, at Minnesota, they're going to come home for a game and then go all the way to the East Coast. It's like, you couldn't have figured that one out, huh?
It's one of those weird ones. It's like, come home, you have the 2 Alberta teams, which is cool, and they actually give them a day off this time. And then you come home for one game. It's like, oh, hi, honey, just trying to get some new clothes. And then they're quickly going back out on the road trip to,
But the thing is, though, is that at least if you look at this one in February, after they play Florida, they get a couple days off at least. So at least you have a day to kind of, get it together. Or maybe after Florida, they just turn around and fly just right back out to get acclimated back to that schedule. Who knows? That time zone.
Right. In those 2 games against Winnipeg and Minnesota, it's a weird time. I mean, essentially 6 p.m. over in Winnipeg and 4 p.m. over in Minnesota. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah. That's got me questioning things a little bit. But then they get the cool, kind of tri-state area road trip, New Jersey, Rangers, Islanders, Philly. Again, very reminiscent of October of a year ago, where on a trip they played Islanders, Flyers, Rangers, and Devils.
It's
Very the same.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like the October road trip is now in February.
A little bit. Then you finish New Jersey and Pittsburgh, and you get this 6-game stand going into March. Toronto, Minnesota, Colorado, Ottawa. Then you get a nice trip. Now, again, at Chicago, at St. Louis, at Dallas, at Colorado, all games in the Central. Again, kudos, stick taps, if you will, to the schedule makers coming home, Montreal and Boston. Boy, I don't think those teams. Let's be honest. You see hosting Montreal and Boston. Chances are both of those teams at that point are going through the California Triangle. It wouldn't surprise me if on the 21st the Kings are playing Montreal. You know what I mean? So
the Ducks, yeah.
Yeah, and we all know how much Montreal and Boston enjoy each other. So I hope they stay at the same hotels, and Montreal leaves a nice little gift for people from the Bruins coming in. But anyway, then another Western Alberta, your Western Canada trip, Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton, again making perfect sense. Then you get, essentially look at that string towards the end where you get at Calgary, at Vancouver, at Edmonton. You're only, although I do, it's a little silly that you got to go at Calgary, then over to Vancouver, then back to Edmonton. That's a little silly.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if they could have figured that out a little bit better. But then Arizona, LA, Dallas, Anaheim, you finished the last 3 of your last 4 are at home. So that's nice. And you stay in your time zone. So that's, that's the way it shakes out. So let's get into the minutia a little bit. So month 1, home and homes versus Vegas. Does the NHL just want to have people starting on the IR? Is that what it is?
They want to have old time hockey back. They're going to have a full time brawl. And don't forget too, what's the last preseason game at Vegas?
Yeah.
It's like maybe they'll just stay there and then just send the guys that you're going to go to the Barracuda, just fly back to San Jose.
Yeah, no doubt.
Honestly, because it's Sunday the 29th is the last preseason game in Vegas, and we all know Joe Thornton.
We all know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Only 3 Sunday games. I thought this was very cool. Only 3 Sunday games during the NFL season. They had 6 last year. It seemed like there was a ridiculous amount of Sunday games on the schedule last season. This year, only 3. That's a nice change. The Sharks, again, play Saturday, Sunday of Wild Card Weekend. That should be interesting for fans of the NFL and of Sharks hockey.
Yeah, absolutely no chill for the NFL schedule at all.
Well, a little bit for regular season, but not so much for when it really matters the most. The other odd thing that we saw a difference of from last season, there are only 2 1 p.m. starts this season for the Sharks. Last year there was 3. So you had a 1 p.m. You had a matinee versus LA in December. You had a matinee versus Ottawa in January, and then, of course, the matinee versus St. Louis in March last season, which was Tealtown USA Day at the Tank. This time, only 2 1:00 games, but the odd kind of note for these is that these happen during the holidays. You get versus LA at 1:00 in November, the day after Thanksgiving. Let's kick over to that. So you get, I'm assuming that Thanksgiving's the 28th this year, just based on this calendar. Can't imagine the boys are going to be in Vegas on Thanksgiving. Although it is odd that wasn't it the last 2 years the Sharks have played at Vegas the day before, the day after Thanksgiving?
It was always somewhere in between there, and this time they go in a week early for the Vegas trip,
Yeah.
and
So
then they have the pre-Thanksgiving. Oh, I had this up somewhere. They have the pre-Thanksgiving one in against Winnipeg. Then they get Thanksgiving Day off, and then they come back to play an afternoon matinee Black Friday against LA.
oh, I love that Black Friday against LA. You know, I hope that the Kings are required to wear their whites on that one, and the Sharks wear their stealth. You know, just because Black Friday. But anyway,
They've done that before, I think.
I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Another scheduling quirk, if you will. No games versus the Golden Knights in 2020. At least, you know, the first 4 months of 2020.
one of those weird notes, and overall, I mean, 12 back-to-backs. I think that's down from like the ridiculous 16 we've
That
seen
was-
last few years.
14 last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12. Yeah, no, but then again, if you go back, whether it was last year, I don't think it was. I think it was the season before. The Sharks didn't see Vancouver until like after Valentine's Day. So you know, there's those little quirks that you might get rid of a team really early in the year where you're done with them by Thanksgiving, or you don't see them until Valentine's. It's just those fun little odd quirks that happened in schedules. The longest roadie that they have, 5 games in October. That's huge. If you were one of the people that remember back in the day, the Sharks would go on that ridiculous 8-game trip in February while the tennis match was being played at SAP. So that's really nice to see that there's no roadie longer than 5. That's fantastic. You get that 7-game homestand in December plus 2 6-game homestands. And somehow, some way, and we'll turn this off for now. Somehow, some way, the NHL schedule makers, for all the good that they have done with this schedule, where they've clustered trips together that make sense, you still can't figure out how to put the Sharks at LA, at Anaheim, like back to back, whatever. You can't put them in SoCal back to back. But I will give you this. You did schedule at Anaheim on a Saturday this year, because like the last 5 years, every game in SoCal has been like on a Monday or a Tuesday or something like that.
Thursday.
Yeah. So at least you scheduled that on a Saturday. So yeah, don't think that I'm not eyeballing a little road trip down to Anaheim. The only thing that bums me out is that the Sharks opener is the night before, and I'll be there. So it's like, boy, man, turn around, get up next morning. Let's go to Anaheim, guys.
Yeah, it's one of the it's a crazy stretch that week. I mean, think about it. If you have a week off from work, you can watch the preseason game in Vegas, stay in Vegas, watch the season opener where you know it's just going to be nasty, then go home maybe for the home opener against Vegas, and then fly back down to Disneyland for it. It's just it's nice. It's really nice. And for that matter, if you want to make it an early weekend, you can those games in November at Anaheim, at Vegas, or before you have to deal with your family pre-Thanksgiving in LA at Staples Center against the Kings.
Yep. Al pointing out, he says 21st to the 28th, Sharks play 4 straight back-to-backs. I think you mean 2 straight back-to-backs. They play St. Louis and Vegas Saturday the 21st, Sunday the 22nd, and then the following weekend. Wow, because Christmas is jammed in between. So, yeah. But the nice thing about those back-to-backs, because then LA, then Philly, they're all at home. So yeah. I will take that any day of the week.
It's very rare, like 4, I believe, 4 home back-to-backs.
Yes.
I haven't seen that many in quite some time.
Yes. Back-to-back overall 12, at home 4, on the road 6. And as as Al pointed out, 2 of those happening towards the end of December. Home game followed by a next day road game, only 2. Another nice scheduling quirk. The Sharks, hey, the NHL schedule makers seem to do you a solid this season. I thought last season was pretty good. I thought the season before was all right. This is a solid schedule. Again, there's only a couple that I look at and I go, what? Like, the first real trip of October at Anaheim, then at Nashville, then at Chicago. Like, okay, whatever. All right, fine. But you look at the rest of these trips, beginning of December with the whole Southeastern thing, Carolina, Tampa, Florida, playing Tampa and Florida, playing in the same state back to back. Hello, makes sense. Catch Nashville on the way home, makes sense. At Detroit, at Pittsburgh, at Columbus, at Washington, at St. Louis. That could be a tough one, especially at Columbus and then at Washington. Both of those back-to-back games, both of those morning games, essentially. And I'm assuming that at Washington on Sunday at 9:30 a.m. local here, that's definitely going to be a national game.
Definitely. Well,
I think
because
it will
NBC
be.
usually has a wild card game that day, and around that time. That one I'm curious on.
Well, when I say national, okay. Well, I think it definitely, I don't think it'll be regional. I think it'll be like NBCSN,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be, it's going to be Ronick and Milbury and those guys. It's not going to be Randy and, that's where I'm getting at. When I say national, That's what I meant, not like on NBC proper. But at Arizona, at Colorado, at Vancouver, that's a solid trip. I got no issues with that. At Calgary, at Edmonton, yeah. At Winnipeg, at Minnesota, yeah. And then at New Jersey, at Rangers, at Isles, at Flyers, absolutely makes sense. I mean, you could damn near train to those. I'm sure they probably will, to be honest. They'll just stay in Manhattan and just bust those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm good with this. So let's get into giveaways. What do we see as the giveaways this season? There has been for the last couple of years. I'm trying to think what they had pucks. I remember they had pucks for sale 2 seasons ago that showed like Sharks versus Philly, and those were for sale. I don't know that there was, it's been forever since a magnet schedule, but last season we saw the Duck Hunt mystery pucks. It makes you wonder, will there be some sort of mystery puck, whether it's Joe Pavelski on the puck waving the towel from Game 7, Thornton and Jesus, or Couture and Jesus pose. I mean, that's
I thought more. I mean, I get which one you're talking about from Game 7, but at the same time, it's like you either have Jumbo and Burnsy in a white Sharks jersey with that pose. That, amen. But I mean, the Sharks went crazy with bobbleheads last year.
Yeah.
I mean, what could they possibly come up next?
Oh, I've got them written down, man. You got to do.
Oh, AO.
Oh, damn, AO. Playoff ghost bobblehead for Kane. Ouch. On Halloween. Yeah, dude. How are you not working in the marketing department? I'm just saying.
And Al's right. If for a Pavelski bobblehead, who says he's even going to be with the team?
There is that. I don't care. You need to have. We saw the holiday suit bobblehead that Kura just showed off. If you're going to do another suit one, you got to do Pavelski in the suit holding a towel. That would be outstanding. You got to do Couture in Jesus pose. Somebody else brought up another good one too. I can't remember what it was, but there are some solid ideas for bobbleheads this season. You could do you could do Couture. Remember how they did the Burnsy teeth thing? You could do Couture one where it's just missing the one.
True.
There's a lot of options that you can go with. But man, there should be some fun gives this season. I can't wait for the promotional schedule to come out. The Marlowe and Thornton paired bobblehead would not surprise me.
Yeah. And come on, you mentioned this on Twitter earlier. Talk about sending the clowns. Why not for opening night along with the magnetic schedule? 17,562 fans with teal clown noses.
Yes, that would be outstanding. I don't think it's going to happen,
With
but
an LED light in it.
oh no, it would be great. That would be outstanding. That would be awesome. I just don't think this is not a swipe against the Sharks at all.
No,
Just
not at all.
I'm just saying that I don't think they'll do that because they respect, like, the Sharks. They have, hey, quality chirps on Twitter. Even Barracuda's had a couple of quality chirps here and there, but I think to the Sharks organization, the idea of like the blue coat gallant or the teal clown nose or something, I think they might consider that being a bridge too far, a little over the line. That said, it would be hysterical.
Yeah. And speaking of, taking it a step notch, did you see the tweet about, the shark schedule in playlist form?
Oh, and play, yes. Well, of course, because the thing that got me was somebody was mentioning that the game at home versus Vegas was Madonna 4 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, go look at my Twitter from April because that's when I was talking about that. It was like, it seemed like the most obvious thing. If when Vegas, whether it's like the first TV timeout or the first opportunity, even if you do it, honestly, you know what? During warm up, you know how, they're out there for warm up. How long do the guys go for warm up? Like 10, 15 minutes? Yeah. Honestly, I would create a 15-minute loop of Madonna's 4 minutes and just play that the entire time. That would be a solid troll job.
DJ Chris, if you're watching.
Yeah, will that happen? No, but first TV timeout, he's definitely playing that.
But I mean, in some of these are just crazy. Like, the first one, 4 minutes, like Madonna, but looking at like against Dallas, 1999 Prince.
That's a solid troll job right there. I also posted it as well on my Twitter that instead of just the a teal nose or something like that, just an actual clown mask that you just put on, and with how funny would that be to look out at 17,000 people all wearing clown masks in SAP? I would laugh my ass off. I saw a fact of Kane fights Reeves in the season. No, not going to happen. Not worth it. Not to start the year. No. Gambrell takes LeBank's place in the penalty box next season. Ooh, I don't know. It's LeBank's to give right now.
Al Martinet, can I get a LeBanc in the penalty box figurine, but instead of the head, it's the penalty box?
Yeah, of course. That would be awesome. Sharky dressed as a have they ever actually given away a Sharky bobblehead? Like, I know if you get a Sharky Graham, that typically comes with a Sharky bobblehead, and that seems to be like the only way to get one. But how do they not do a give? Again, though, I think the Sharks will, they won't tip the scale. They won't push that hard where it's a giveaway. But Sharky in a clown outfit for maybe a portion of that game, I can see that.
Yeah, totally. Cooch adjustable action figure for multiple cellies. But how do you do?
How about just a couture head with removable teeth? You can just put him in and put him back depending on what he looks like that day. I don't know. That would be fantastic.
Well, and give a credit to Doug Benson. We've talked with, you've talked to him for a couple of years. They've always knocked it out of the ballpark. I mean, the LeBanc piggy bank last year, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a bobblehead.
Yeah, the Timo Meyer clock, the Shark's head figurine.
That was my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a solid give. Loved that. Oh, a Timo hand pass. Timo on his knees with the stick in one hand and the puck in the other in the hand. Yeah, I would be down with that. That would get me buying tickets. Well, and in fact, so now that we talk about this, let's talk about probable dates. Now, call it what it is. And this is not just Shark specific. This goes around sports. Okay. So I'm not calling out anybody here, but typically a lot of teams, pretty much every team, they will use merchandise gives, whether it's, bobbleheads or what have you, whatever giveaway at the door is. Or you also see the packages where, what was it a couple years ago? They would do like the chum pack where you buy tickets to a game, you get 2 bottles of beer and you get 2 beer steins or something like that. That's all done to drive ticket sales for games that don't sell very well. So yeah, everybody does it. It's nothing to be upset about. But likely, typically that's going to be a game on a Tuesday. Saturdays sell well. Thursdays do pretty good, but Saturdays sell really well. The weekends sell good, but it's Tuesday. And so let's see, Tuesday versus the 5th versus Chicago. Chicago is not the juggernaut it once was, people. And Chicago fans don't travel well. That's the one team when we play Detroit, I see a lot of wingnuts in the house. We played Toronto, I see a lot of blue in the house. When we play Chicago, I don't see a lot of people repping the Blackhawks.
Yeah,
so
they've fallen off the bandwagon, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so with that, it wouldn't surprise me if November 5th there's going to be a solid giveaway. Maybe Edmonton on the 19th. Although you would think Connor McDavid is a draw. Wednesday versus Winnipeg, that'll be a solid game, but will it be a draw? Is that a matchup during a Wednesday that draws fans?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, it's LA on the day after, but it's Black Friday. I mean, what better way
it's
to...
Thanksgiving the next day after Winnipeg.
That's true.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. The night, pencil this down, people. I don't even need foreseen points for this because I know what's happening. Tuesday, December 17th versus Arizona. A Tuesday versus Arizona. You can bet your ass there is going to be a giveaway that night. There is going to be some sort of promotion because Arizona games don't sell well across the board. But then you put it on a random Tuesday in December. Yeah, that's going to be
And the 21st against St. Louis, I mean, that's the first rematch. I mean, that's one thing we didn't mention when going over the schedule. The first rematch between the Blues and the Sharks.
Oh, yes. Let's see here. I saw a couple. Well, how cool would that be if they came up with some sort of thing where it's like, instead of the figurine of the shark head, it's like Sharky hanging from the rafters figurine type of a thing. I don't know. And you give away that for versus Detroit. How did ticket prices go up this season to pay for oh, well, they always go up. What if Pavelski is playing for Chicago? Not going to happen. But you know what? Not betting a Carlson jersey on that one. If Pavelski goes to Arizona, it's a sellout. Yes, that absolutely.
That's why they don't put it out today.
Yeah, who gets more? Well, we've seen that though, that the Sharks, again, this happens with teams across the board, across sports, that they already have a few dates calendared that, okay, we're going to do a giveaway this time, and this time. Then once tickets go on sale to the general public, they sit there, they look, they gauge, they get the metrics, and they see, okay, we don't have to worry about this game. We don't have to worry about that game. These are selling very well. Here's some games that aren't selling well. So these are the nights that, that they've already got 5 or 6 in the, that are already calendared. But then they have prototypes and other things, other ideas for giveaways that are on the back burner, just waiting to get the analytics from the ticket sales to go, okay, these are the nights. And because that's why it always happens. You see promotions announced later on. That's just the way it happens. You see that with the Giants. You see that everybody does it. Everybody does it.
And the funny thing too, I know we're talking regular season. Do the Sharks have a preseason game in September? On September 25th.
I was going to say a preseason game. It's all of their preseason games in September. I don't know. I don't have the preseason in front of me. However, you know what I would really like? How about remember the first game, opening night of October 2016 opening night, there was the what was it? The Western Conference Champions banner.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Can we get a Mike Hoffman banner? Wouldn't that be
Better
great?
contact Teal City Crew.
Yeah. That would be good. I can't, and in fact, we came up with another idea and somebody shot it over to Teal City Crew. If you guys do it, you better put our logo on there. God damn it. That was our idea. Oh, and speaking of giveaways, for those of you who don't know, it's the end of September. I want to say the 25th, although I don't have the information in front of me. If you want to get a cool give, go on to sfgiants.com because they are doing a cool Zambo, or actually go to Instagram, Tealtown USA on Instagram. We posted the information and photos of it. It's a very cool Zamboni that has both Sharky and Lucille driving it with the SF logo on one side and the Sharks logo on the other side. It looks very cool. And, I got my tickets weeks ago, so I can't wait for that. And as Rob is pointing out, Giants tickets selling cheap this year. Gee, I wonder why. By the time that game comes around in September, they might pay me to go.
Yeah,
Man.
and there it is. Just to put it up there. I mean, there's Sharky on one side, and then Lucille on the other side of the Zamboni. I mean, this is so freaking cool. September 25th,
Yep.
and for once they're doing this game without the Sharks actually playing a preseason game, so you can get out there and enjoy the ball game big time.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that last year. But the cool thing, see, I don't think that they're doing that with the Zambonis. At least I do. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that they are. I don't know if it's a certain allotment. But last year, the Sharks and Giants did shirts as the give. They're very cool shirts. White, the typical 3/4 sleeve, kind of old style baseball. So it was orange sleeves with the orange collar and then white body, and it had an orange Screaming Shark logo. And the great thing about it is not only did they have, because typically when the Sharks do gives, when it comes to shirts, it's medium or XL, and never the twain shall meet when it comes to any other sizing. The best thing about the Giants give for that was they had small all the way up to like triple X. And the really cool part is they had extras available for sale. That's something that I would love to see the Sharks, many teams do, have multiple sizes, but also have extras for sale. Because, not everybody lives near the tank or whatever venue it is, but boy, they would sure love to pick up a couple for their friends who live out of state or whatever that are big fans that would love something like that. Yep. So, but it's made by Fanatics, which likely means the wheels on the Zamboni will fall off. So I try not to talk bad about the Fanatics, but they just make it so easy with the quality of what they put out. But anyway, it's not my fault, man. But make better stuff. Use better product, man. So anyway, I think we're close to wrapping this up. Again, solid schedule this season. I mean, really no excuses. Especially if you get the guys rolling in with the head of steam, if you get your guys signed, whether it's Meyer, LeBanc, Pavelski, Marlowe. Anyway,
he's a jerk right now.
Yeah, well, we shall see, my friend. I just cannot. I mean, that's the whole thing. To spiral off for a second, that's the whole thing that I thought was fun about the Hurricanes coming out and say, well, we're going to talk to Marlowe and see. And I'm like, dude, he's literally came out and said, there's nowhere else I want to play but San Jose. I mean, literally, like, family, the whole thing is, look, his 4 sons go to school here. They got friends here. I don't know if Christina
lives here, or that's where they met.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, give me a break. Any guesses where Pavelski signs? I'm going to guess San Jose. I may be wrong, but I'm going to guess San Jose. Ooh. I just feel like there's going to be some sort of way. Let's be honest. There's one of two ways this is going to go. Okay, just financially speaking. We're going to get Timo and we're going to get LeBanc. Oh boy, I'm trying to work this out. Like you could literally Timo, you know what it
Jumbo's
is.
going to sign for the league minimum.
Yeah, Jumbo
You know
will
he
sign for the league minimum. I think Marlowe will sign for the league minimum. He already, you
Plenty
know,
of money.
yeah, dude got paid. Marlowe and Jumbo will sign for the league minimum. The fact that the cap is like $1.5 million lower than what everybody thought, ooh, that hurts.
That one hurt big time.
Yeah. But I think if you're chasing after Timo and you're chasing after LeBanc, obviously, I think we can pretty much consider that Nyquist is gone. I think we can consider that Donskoy is gone. It wouldn't surprise me if Joachim Ryan is gone. We found out earlier today that he was not issued a qualifying offer. So, I mean, but who knows? We saw that happen earlier with Dylan DeMello, and he ended up resigning. So it's not fait accompli just because you're not issued a qualifying offer. Remember,
to get traded 2 months later.
yeah. Remember Rourke Chartier, who was, touted a lot at the beginning of last season, was not issued a qualifying offer, although Suomela was. So it's gonna be quite interesting. And for those of you unaware, camp started up today. You have the youngins out there, and that leads into the prospect scrimmage this Friday, which of course Eric and I will be at. If you see us, say something. So if you see something, say something. Don't be afraid to say hi. Definitely don't be afraid to come up and with a beer to me. No, I'm kidding. Sort of. Anyway, no.
If you show up with a Bud Light and
if you show up with if you show up with a Bud Light, I'm not even going to talk to you. Just saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that big of a.
Our friend Matt Baker, who lives up in Vancouver, he came down a couple years ago because it timed right. Sharks play at home December 14th. Niners play at home December 15th. So if you're one of those guys who like to visit the Bay Area and want to hit up both teams, that's another week to check it out too.
Oh, that's a good one. Good looking out on that. That's a good look on the schedule. Scotch, sure. I'm more of a tequila guy when it comes to hard alcohol, but okay. Hope to see the Teal Town peeps on September 25th. Well, I got my tickets. I'm going to be there. Are you going to that one?
Which one? September 25th? Yeah, I will be.
The Giants? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
That Zamboni's awesome.
Yeah. Got to do it. I'm almost like I might buy two more tickets just to get 2 more of them. Like no one's even going to sit in them. Where'd you get your polo that you're wearing, sir?
This one I got on Amazon. I've been looking for it for a while. It finally came in my size.
Has kind of a rugby feel to it.
A little bit. It's not like the performance polos that are very in vogue right now. It's very classic, but I like the little splash of teal with the black. So definitely.
I like this little splash of teal with the black. It's very sexy. Anyway, so last call for questions. Is it Fanatics?
No, it's not.
Okay, then. All right. Now we're talking. Now we are talking, my friend.
Anthony, I'll post the link on Twitter.
Yeah. Last call for questions in the chat. Last call. Now taking last call. And hold on. Aren't you doesn't your birthday fall during the season?
Mine? Yeah. Falls on Boxing Day. Those bastards took it out during the last CBA. So. Okay,
I should probably be more specific. When is your birthday?
December 26th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you got nothing.
Yeah, that's because they took it out. They took December 26th out on the last CBA.
Well, then okay, so you go to the game versus LA and you're fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
the same.
Rob saying I think PDB is on the hot seat. I think that all depends on how the schedule or how these record is for the Sharks come Thanksgiving.
I think if they start struggling like they did in December, man, oh man, how do you not uh, start
You would have to,
questioning that?
yeah, you'd have to admit a little bit, even though he did sign that extension, what, like a season ago. So, don't think so. But but stranger things have happened when you look at the money that uh, Doug Wilson has committed. You have to think that expectations have never been higher, and last season they were pretty goddamn high. So when you've got I expect with a healthy, because remember, Brendan Dillon is not set in stone right now. And if they have to move him in order to make something else happen, you never know. Having Boogie back's going to be huge when you consider that you've got Brent Burns, Vlasic, Carlson, and if Shimmick returns to form. See, the whole thing we really need to hope and predicate this upon is that Shimmick can continue his chemistry with Burns and not have happened to him what clearly happened to Joakim Ryan. We all remember Joakim Ryan came in for Paul Martin, and Ryan somehow absorbed a little bit of that Wookiee whisperer thing going, and then it just kind of disappeared. And Shimmick seems to have it right now, and hopefully it stays like that. But if it does, that's a hellacious top four to have, and maybe that does make Brendan Dillon a little expendable, especially at his price point with only 1 year left, 3.3 million. Dillon's an attractive piece to pull, because what's Brendan Dillon right now, like 25?
Years old?
Yeah. I think he's only like 25 or 26. He's a young guy.
Oh, I think he's a little older than that, though.
Oh, I don't know. I thought we got him when he was like 23. I don't know. He's a young dude.
Brendan Dillon is 28 years old, and
God,
this is his last year before he goes UFA.
Wow, God, I thought he was like 25 for some reason. I wonder who the hell I'm thinking of.
We did get him 5 years ago, so he was 23 at the
time.
Oh,
maybe so we got him when he was 23. Okay, well, either way, he definitely took his biggest step forward last season. So that just increases his value. So look, if someone comes along that's going to give the Sharks some solid value, you have to at least look at it, especially if someone during camp impresses you and is able to make that next step.
And it'll be interesting to see who comes out of development camp before, they have the rookie tournament. I don't know if they're having it in Vegas again this year, but also then you go into training camp and see who it is. Will Ryan Merkley make a big jump? Will Middleton kind of be that seventh guy if Tim Heat's going to be pretty much taking over Joakim Ryan's spot?
And I have no problem with that. I like Tim Heat's game. I thought when he subbed in, I thought he was fine. I would not mind seeing him get some more ice time. I think I could see, if Dillon remains, I could see Dillon and Heat as the 5-6, and I would have no problems with that whatsoever.
No,
whatsoever. Middleton's your 7. I'm fine. Unless somebody else takes a step forward. I would trade Milker for future considerations, just to get the contract off the books. Perhaps it would be nice to get some. It's not that Milker's horrible. He's a great penalty killer, but is that worth $2 million? No.
But at the same time, that's where you start wondering who's going to come up.
Sorensen. As a PKer, I think Sorensen. You look at Sorensen. Sure. But who's going to come up? And Dell. Yeah, I would love to see Dell get the hell out of here. Who's going to come up to replace him? That remains to be seen at camp. But give me Alex True. Let's see. That's Blickfeld, Chekovic, Shenlevsky. Any of those guys who totally impress. If we could get see more from Gambrell. I think this is kind of make it or break it for Gambrell right now. He's like at Nikolai Goldobin level, he had some good things here, but he doesn't have consistency. And I feel like Goldobin's at that same spot, and they both seem to care about the same amount about their hair and the way they look, which makes me a little nervous.
Like a tiger, Sorensen is a better value. Last season, he showed a good physical edge besides the speed. It was fun to watch, and talk about a physical edge with the speed and the skill. I mean, AJ, we didn't talk about it yet either, but the concern out there for Timo Meyer in the qualifying sheets
Shut
is
up!
out there.
Shut up!
But
Shut up! Unless I hear it, I'm not saying shit. No. Oh, Suamela, that's another option too, instead of Melker. But yeah, no, I don't want to hear anything about offer sheets. Not at all. Rob Bebo takes over for Dell. I'm looking at Cornash. Cornash is the one that went to the AHL All-Star game, not Bebo. And I know that they're high on what's the kid's name? Not Iman, but the other one, Stone Ridge.
I thought they were on Iman, but yeah, they were also.
They're high on both of them. But I'm just saying that it makes it very feasible if they can find somebody to take Dell, whether it's part of a package. Maybe that's how Dylan leaves, is that he's packaged with Dell. Like, it's kind of like, we're going to give you this really good defenseman, but you got to take this guy too. Shortridge. There you go.
Yeah, Shortridge. And he's actually older than Cornash, which is
but Iman's like 18. So what is the most you give Pavs?
Oh boy.
You know what? Honestly, Lance, that is predicated upon what Timo wants. That's all predicated. If you can get Timo to take the 2-year bridge deal, it's so hard to get into. If Timo can take a 2-year bridge deal, which would so help this team, then and realize that he'll get paid on the other side, similar to what Hurdle got, similar to what Couture got, then you have something to work with. But if Timo wants the Bucks now, I think you can kiss Pavs goodbye. But if Timo will work with the bridge deal, maybe because Timo bought into it, that Thornton's going to play league minimum. You have the potential there that Marlowe would come back and play league minimum, probably fourth line. Maybe Pavs, who is firmly entrenched in the Bay Area, says, look, I'll sign a year or I'll do 2 years, but the third year, you're going to sign me for 3 years. They can work out the numbers, but
he could ask for the Marlowe deal.
He could ask for the Marlowe deal, or he could take term over AAV or over annual value. So it could be very much a case of like, okay, Pavs, we'll sign you to a 4-year deal, but you have to take 4.5. You know what I mean?
I can't see him do 4.5.
I can't, but I'm just saying, you never know. Doug Wilson has proved to be a wizard so far. So
very much so. Just when we thought there's no way in heck.
If Pavs walks, I see Hurdle wearing an A next season. Ooh, I don't know. Obviously, the C falls to Couture. That goes without saying.
Does it, though?
For me, it does.
If Jumbo is back.
Don't matter. You still give Jumbo the A, because I don't want to give a guy a C, give it back to him for a season, just to have it taken away again later. No. Like, it needs to be about the future of the team. No, and Couture's earned it without a doubt.
Win it for Jumbo.
Yeah.
He gets to be the first one to hoist the cup, if that's the case.
Nah. He'll be the first one regardless. So no, Couture gets the C. Who the hell were the A's last year? it was
Couture, Thornton. Thornton, Burns would fill in when somebody was
yeah. So I mean, it seems pretty obvious that it's, Couture would get the C. You might give Burns an A, and then maybe Hurdle gets an A, I guess.
I bet Hurdle gets an A when somebody's hurt, or like they've done in the past, AJ, where it was like 2 sets of guys wore A's on the road, 2 sets of guys wore A's at home.
Well, and it wouldn't surprise me if Erik Karlsson ended up with an A, just because he was a captain of the Sens. So I can see that. But Jesus Christ, just think about this for a hot second, okay? Everybody, just like close your eyes for a moment. Just for the sake of argument, close your eyes. Timo Meyer resigns. Somehow we also get Pavelski. Thornton and Marlowe sign for the league minimum. you will have a team that literally has 4 captains on it. I mean, dear Lord, Marlowe, Thornton, Pavelski, and Carlson. Seriously?
And 3 of them wore C's with the Sharks.
Yeah, right? Oh, my Lord.
Uh,
Marlowe gets the C for his last ride. Bullshit. I don't think so. But it's fun to talk about. So I think with that, probably a good time to wrap it up. We've been pontificating and shooting the shit for an hour, but it's good to talk to you guys. Oh my God, get your microphone situation.
well, yeah, Cheryl was saying I wish I could actually hear Eric. So we're going to talk afterwards.
Gotta eat it. Gotta eat the mic. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, we're working on some fun stuff during the off season that we can't quite let you in on just yet. Okay, I'll tell you. We're getting Kayla a new cat tree. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, that's it. Well, you'll see us around. Hello, we've got
Friday.
Scrimmage game on Friday. Free agent frenzy is just around the corner. Hey, now that should be fun. It should be more fun than day 1 of the draft was. Oh my God. Anyway, there was like 1 trade, right? Like at the 11th pick.
Yeah, it was just the 11th pick getting swapped and then an added pick to that. Man, that was fun to cover.
Anyway, so yeah. Tealtown Day, the sequel. Boy, it's gonna be tough here, guys, looking at the schedule, because as we stated, there are only 2 1:00 games the day after Thanksgiving versus LA. And then President's Day,
which is a Monday.
Yeah, that's going to be, which is odd because I remember them playing like MLK Day the last couple of years. But yeah, it's going to be tough that they're essentially holiday days, and those aren't days that typically everybody has off. So
we will talk to Sharks and Barracuda brass, and interesting to see that there's not as many 1:00 starts for the Sharks and Barracuda, and you wonder if it's, they'll be playing on more separate days because Chase Center is opening up and taking some of the acts from the tank.
Yes, this is true. So well, you know what? As soon as we know, we'll let you know. We'll definitely be talking to them. Maybe we have to instead of we might have to do Tealtown USA Day in reverse. So we all go to a Barracuda game at 1:00, and then we all talk about the Cuda game, but really kind of do pregame about what's going to happen with the Sharks that night and do it that way. Stranger things have happened. Let's do it away too. Yeah. Okay. So Tealtown USA Day is going to be Saturday, October 5th at Anaheim. We'll be on the Santa Monica Pier until 3:00. No, just kidding. So yeah, that's it. Where can everybody find you, Eric?
At PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit us up on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's it for me. AJ, it's back to you.
AJ_strong on the Twitter, Instagram, all those things. It's been a hellacious last couple of months with subscribers on YouTube, followers on Tealtown, followers on Instagram, all those things. Do us a favor. If you could, share the information with people. Let them know. Let's just make this bigger and bigger and bigger, if you will. And if you like fun stuff, we're getting them funnier and funnier on Instagram. So make sure to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, tell a friend, and as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch us on your favorite. I'm going to say favorite instead of favorite, but your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you enjoy watching us on. So thanks. Have a great evening, and we will see you at the Prospect Scrimmage, everyone.
Keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real teal. See you later.